Hello everyone, how are you? My name is Makeda, Voletta, also known as the Body Scientist. And in case you're unfamiliar with me, I have a background in exercise and sports science and nutrition science. And my approach is very much holistic. I believe in ancestral ways of doing things. I am very much into researching epidemiology, biology, archaeology, anthropology, and I'm also a birth worker, okay? So a doula, although I don't practice a lot, but I have been to many birth conferences, and I have more of a passion for helping women prepare for birth and recover from birth than I do actually being there at the birth, because that's a huge commitment and I do many things. But I went through my doula training in 2010, and ever since then I have been an avid researcher of childbirth, okay, natural childbirth and the different issues that women have, okay. So today I want to talk about something called pre-eclampsia, which some of you may have never heard of if you haven't been pregnant or not into that, but it's very common. A lot of you may have heard about Black women having a lot of issues in childbirth and dying in childbirth in America. And some people will say it's because of inequities in healthcare. However, I think it's much deeper than that, okay? There's not a lot of emphasis on prenatal nutrition. Like actually, before a woman even conceives, in traditional cultures, what a woman ate was super important, and the father too, what the man eats as well. But because the mother has to grow the baby in her womb and then birth the baby and then nourish the baby with her breast milk, nutrition is vitally important for women. And there are a lot of mothers that have issues producing milk, a lot of mothers who are having issue in labor. And there's so many things to say about that. And in the next month or so, I'm going to be doing a lot of videos about that. Today, I want to do a video on pre-eclampsia, okay? And I'm gonna try to make this brief because I'm actually rushed. I have something else to do, but I really wanted to get this video done today. So first of all, pre-eclampsia is the #1 reason for maternal death in the United States, okay? Hold on, I'm gonna go through, I have like a list of notes. I have like so many things I wanna say, so I'm just gonna go through my list. It is characterized by, swelling, high blood pressure, and a study published in the American Journal of Epidemiology did an analysis of more than 33,000 women in Norway. And they found that women who ate 4.7 ounces of fermented milk products during the first half of their pregnancy had a reduced risk for developing pre-eclampsia. Now, if you follow me in my work, you know that I'm a big avid supporter of fermented dairy, raw grass-fed dairy, okay? There's a lot of propaganda around milk, around dairy products, but they're highly nutritious products. And many groups of people in the world have consumed grass-fed dairy and still do. Even when people say Africans can't drink milk, the Maasai in Africa live off of cow's milk and cow's blood. I encourage you to do that research. I also have a video where I talk more about that, and I will post that below because I'm doing this live on my IG page. I will record it. I will save it and repost it to my YouTube page, The Body Scientist 81. On my YouTube page, I will post other references for things for you to look at. Also, other books. Again, this video is rushed. I kind of wish I wasn't rushed because it's making my brain crazy. But I just really wanted to get this video done today because I've been wanting to get it done for weeks now. But I will do more lengthy videos later. On my YouTube page, I will include more references. But anyhow, the fermented milk, right? Fermented milk means that it has lots of bacteria, good bacteria. So probiotics help to reduce inflammation in the gut, which is then believed to lower the blood pressure, okay? So you also, if you follow my work, you know I'm constantly talking about the importance of bacteria, probiotics, maintaining a microbiome. Studies show that long periods of sexual cohabitation with the father of the child significantly decreases her chances of preeclampsia. One of my best friends who is a labor and delivery nurse, I remember she told me this like when she was pregnant with her first son some years ago, about how actual oral sex, consuming her husband or the father of the child's semen actually helps to prevent preeclampsia. And there are studies on that, so you can look that up. Okay. So preeclampsia is caused by high blood pressure in pregnancy, often accompanied by toxemia. Okay. And there is also a decline in kidney and liver function. Usually edema in pregnancy, edema is like when swelling that happens in the face and the hands and the feet. Usually it happens gradually, not overnight. And preeclampsia, it happens pretty quickly, okay? And it's the most common in first pregnancies and women carrying multiples, women over 35, and women with a history of obesity and diabetes, high blood pressure, or kidney disease. Mild cases are not dangerous, but if it develops into full-blown eclampsia, characterized by the HELP syndrome, okay? So the HELP syndrome is hemolysis, elevated liver enzymes, and low platelet count. So hemolysis, elevated liver enzymes, and low platelet count, which means like basically low blood level count and issues with your liver enzymes, okay? And so in addition to swelling, other symptoms can include headache, nausea, vomiting, upper abdominal pain, and vision problems. The condition can have serious consequences, including permanent liver and kidney damage and the death of the infant. Usually, bed rest is advised, along with frequent consumption of liquids and lots of nutrient-dense foods, and also not skimping on salt, okay? So a lot of pregnant women, first of all, no one talks to pregnant women about nutrition. And like I said, it starts before conception. When people do talk about it, it's just like, take a prenatal vitamin. Prenatal vitamins are super toxic. I'm going to do a video on that as well. Prenatal vitamins are no bueno, okay? They're not good. They have a lot of artificial nutrients in it that are absolutely not good for you, okay? And I will do a more in-depth video on that very soon. But that's it, you know, it's really important for pregnant women to have high levels of vitamin D. If you follow my work, you know, I talk about vitamin D all the time. Most people have a vitamin D deficiency, and the sun is not enough, okay? Look at my vitamin D videos and you'll see me talk about that. You need to get it from your diet as well. High sources of vitamin D, liver, okay? Chicken, liver in general, but chicken and poultry liver, very high in vitamin D, and vitamin D needs vitamin A, so you don't want to take vitamin D supplements. Because first of all, vitamin D supplements, you're getting artificial vitamin D, which is not good. And also, vitamin D needs vitamin A. So for every unit of vitamin D, you need a unit of vitamin A to balance it out. So cod liver oil and liver, #1 source, okay? There was a time when everybody was given cod liver oil as a kid. Anybody my age and older, I don't care where they come from in the world, we all got given cod liver oil as a kid. I feel like nowadays, kids don't even know what cod liver oil is. It's super, super important, okay? And, you know, salt is important. So, like, a lot of times pregnant women will think, well, let me stop eating the salt, especially if they have a blood pressure issue. But salt is actually not the cause of hypertension, okay? In hospital settings, you may be treated, if a woman has preeclampsia and she's in the hospital, she may be treated with blood pressure lowering medications and steroids, which can interfere with the development of the baby's lungs, okay? And doctors may also suggest intravenous magnesium sulfate. This should be avoided, except in extreme cases, okay? Side effects to the mother include muscle weakness, buildup of fluid in the lungs, and blurred vision. Rare side effects in the infant include muscle weakness, buildup of fluid in the lungs, and low vitality at birth, and low blood pressure. Anecdotal evidence suggests that intravenous magnesium sulfate may interfere with the woman's ability to produce breast milk, okay? Also, you know, saturated fats are very protective of the liver. Saturated fat also protects our heart and our lungs. So the things that we get told about avoiding saturated fat, absolutely incorrect. Our brain is mostly made of saturated fat. You know, we need saturated fat and cholesterol to make our hormones. We need cholesterol to make vitamin D. Okay, so that's why a low cholesterol diet is not good. And your heart uses saturated fat as a fuel. It also helps to protect your lungs. Okay, so avoiding saturated fat is actually not good. The more saturated fat you eat, the better. Especially when a woman is pregnant, because the most nutrient-dense foods are animal foods. Okay, it's the organ meats, it's the eggs, it's the fish eggs, red meat, and something else I was about to say, but I forgot. But preeclampsia is associated with low levels of vitamin D, selenium, protein, and zinc. Traditional diets, I'm very much a believer in traditional diets and ancestral foods. Traditional diets were way higher, about 10 times higher in vitamin D than ours is. So again, good sources of vitamin D, I said the liver and the cod liver oil. Also pork fat, okay? Also pork fat, lard, okay? Also good sources of vitamin A and vitamin D. Then after that, you have butter and raw grass-fed cheeses. Okay, there's no plant source of vitamin D or vitamin A. And I see so many women, I have gestational diabetes, I have preeclampsia. They got so many issues that people think is normal, and it's not normal. And also, I've read a lot of books as well on birth anthropology, like around the world. Anthropologists who study birth around the world. It also wasn't normal for women to have morning sickness. So now, a lot of women have morning sickness, and that's considered to be a normal part of pregnancy. But no, traditional women who ate their traditional foods didn't have all those problems. And I'm not going to say that there weren't sometimes complications in birth, but it was very, very rare, okay? And it takes, in traditional cultures, realized that, the months to the year prior to conception, what their mother ate was super important, and they all had special fertility foods that they consumed, that men and women consumed, but then women consumed also during pregnancy and also when she's breastfeeding, okay, because it's taking a lot of nutrients out of you. If the mother doesn't have adequate vitamin A, adequate vitamin D, adequate iron, adequate fats, okay, the baby will be depleted and certain things won't develop properly. And nowadays, there's so many sickly kids. I feel like even when I look at people who are just going to college, they all look underdeveloped and undergrown. They all got allergies and this problem and that problem. This is like the sickest generation of kids we've ever seen. Okay, so it's not some inevitable thing that, I have preeclampsia and I have, so I do see one person on my IG page who said that they have an issue because I don't answer my followers on there. And that person that's saying that, I'm going to block you, because right now I'm talking about something serious and you're not even speaking about anything. So that's really annoying, and you're going to get blocked as soon as I get off here. Anyhow, it's very hard to talk and then, pay attention to what people are saying, okay? And especially when you're not talking about anything. So anyhow, back to the point is that, a lot of women who have preeclampsia, I would say if you were diagnosed with that, find out what your vitamin D levels are. I can almost guarantee that your vitamin D levels are very, very low. Most people's vitamin D levels are very low unless they're going out of their way to make sure that they're not. Okay, and again, taking a commercial vitamin D supplement is not good. I have 2 YouTube videos on vitamin D, okay? I highly suggest you check them out. I will post them below on my YouTube. When I post this on YouTube, I'll post them below so that you can check them out. Because a lot of people, since COVID has happened, have been talking about vitamin D, and it's a very lightweight conversation, and it's actually wrong. If you take vitamin D as a supplement by itself, it's toxic, and you can actually mess yourself up. So that's not good, okay? And, so pregnant women should be eating lots of eggs, pasture eggs from the farm, fish eggs, okay, seafood, red meat, like daily. Organ meats for sure, especially liver, okay? Cod liver oil, raw dairy, cheeses, yogurts, full fat. Of course, everything I'm talking about from the farm, grass-fed, pasture-raised, because when you're getting it from the commercial food industry, it's not good. A lot of times people stress to pregnant women eating fresh fruits and vegetables. Eat fresh fruits and vegetables. Fresh fruits and vegetables are the least important thing, okay? Because really, they're just giving you a lot of carbohydrates, which is cool, but you need tons of iron, which is animal foods, okay? Red meat, egg yolks. We need tons of saturated fat. Our brain is like over 50% saturated fat, okay? Someone said, I once heard two of my coworkers talk about how sick they were during their entire pregnancy. They summed it up to boys make you sick. I can remember. Yeah, like it's become the norm now to be really, really sick in your pregnancy. And that's not normal when you look at traditional cultures. That is not the case. And they also didn't just get pregnant and just, I remember when I was an undergrad and we took nutrition of the lifespan. My professors would always say, if you're a woman of childbearing age, even if you don't want kids right now, if you're a woman of childbearing age and if you found out tomorrow that you were pregnant and you would keep the baby, then you need to be eating a prenatal diet. You need to be, because once a woman finds out she's pregnant, already it's too late if you don't have the right nutritional stores, because the most important parts of development happen in those first few weeks when women don't even know they're pregnant. So if you don't have enough vitamin A, which is responsible for, the sexual development, forming the sexual organs, and certain signaling, a lot can go wrong. Okay, so, and also a lot of pregnant women are depleted in iron. You can't, the iron in spinach and the iron in plants is inferior compared to animal iron from red meat, from organ meats, from egg yolks, okay? And so I did a video on prenatal nutrition like almost probably 10 years ago now. I'll post that below. But just look out for, in the upcoming weeks, I'm going to be doing a series of videos. I'm going to do one about gestational diabetes and how prenatal vitamins are super toxic. So I'm going to be doing a series of videos. I really wanted to get this pre-eclampsia video out because even in my feed, I keep seeing pregnant women who have this issue. And it's just too much for me to keep writing to them, okay? So I'm going to include a series of resources below on my YouTube, on this YouTube video, so that you can check it out yourself and do your research. Because as mothers and as women, like, it's super important to make sure we're properly nourished when we're pregnant and in labor, because you'll have better outcomes, and also so will your baby, okay? The mother plays a role in setting up the health in the future and development of that baby by what she consumes, and even with breast milk. All breast milk is not good. Some breast milk is totally depleted of nutrients. Okay, so a mother could be breastfeeding. The baby's crying and not happy because the breast milk is depleted of nutrients. Okay, and so it's super duper important, and I do not see it stressed. Pediatricians, a lot of midwives don't know, and I've seen a lot of midwives give bad advice. And I'm really surprised when I see midwives who also promote a plant-based diet. Nowhere in the world, not in Africa, not nowhere in Asia, not in Europe, not in the Americas, not in the Polynesian Islands, none of them places where you see them promoting plant-based diets for pregnant women. If you look at traditional foods and what they ate, it was very high in sacred foods, animal foods, okay? Check out the work of Weston A. Price, okay? Their book, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. There is no better book ever written on nutrition, traditional nutrition around the world, the kind of research that he did, okay? I have been researching this topic my whole adult life, okay? And practically 20 years now, and I've never seen research better than this. So I highly suggest checking out the book, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Weston A. Price, okay? And understanding that, zinc, selenium, protein, vitamin D, depletion of all those is linked to preeclampsia. The best sources of protein, animal foods. The only source of vitamin D, animal foods, okay? And a little bit of the sun, but there's a lot of limitations with that. But then even to make it from the sun, you have to have enough cholesterol. Cholesterol is only in animal foods. Zinc, animal foods, and seafood, okay? So this is critically important, all right? Critically important. Understand that if you have preeclampsia, it's not some inevitable thing, and is your body definitely telling you that you are nutritionally depleted, okay? You also need probiotics, and that's another thing that's super important in general, but especially when a woman is pregnant, because when you birth your baby, if you have a vaginal birth, the baby is inoculated with the mother's microbiome when it comes into this world. Babies who are born by C-section have a higher chance of having asthma, allergies, and a whole lot of problems because they're not inoculated with their mother's bacteria when they come into this world. Instead, they get inoculated with the sickly hospital bacteria. And if the mother breastfeeds, she can further inoculate the baby with her microbiome. But if you have a baby who is formula fed and fed by C-section, and born by C-section, they're starting off with a setup of a life of depletion and illness, okay? So I have to run, but more on this soon, okay? Feel free to share your stories, your 2 cents, and I will be posting this on my YouTube video with other links below. Okay, people, have a great day. Bye and take care.